All right, you're tuned into Velo News TV. We're at the 2007 Sea Otter Classic talking with Rich Houseman of the Yeti Fox Downhill Gravity 4-Cross Mountain Cross Racing Team. Rich, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good. Just spectating this year. Had a little bit of an injury to my shoulder, so just been doing some team managing and watching over the boys.
Yeah, Rich, why don't you tell us a little bit about that surgery you had done?
Just over the winter, I took a couple diggers and ended up popping my shoulder out of place. And about a month ago, they went in and tightened it up. So I'm about a month in on rehab, one more month, and I'll be back racing.
Rich is the reigning National Mountain Bike Series gated racing champion. Rich, have you been able to tell whether this injury, this surgery, is going to affect your ability to throw elbows?
No, I think I'll be all right. I want to be safe about it. I don't want it to happen again, but the recovery on this type of a surgery is almost 100%, so I think I'll be just fine.
Right on. You know, Rich, they took out gated racing, one of the gated racing events, Mountain Cross at Sea Otter this year. You know, as a gated racer, what does that mean to you guys?
You know, I think they've struggled in the past with building the course here. It's unfortunate that it wasn't in there. I think it always adds a little bit just to having both events, the slalom and the mountain cross. But, you know, I think the slalom usually has been the most prestigious race here as far as the gated stuff goes, so I'm glad they didn't take that away. I think if the slalom would have went away, I think that would be the end there.
You know, Rich, you got your start in BMX racing, you know, 18, 20 years ago, something like that. You know, how does it make you feel to see that sport become an Olympic event?
You know what, it's funny you asked that because, you know, since I was 6 years old, that was the talk. You know, it was like someday BMX is going to be in the Olympics, and the dream sort of faded, you know, as far as 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden, you know, to see that in there is, I think it's big. I think, you know, everybody has a BMX story. You know, somebody's ridden a BMX bike somewhere in somebody's family at some point, so I think it's awesome.
You know, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Yeti Fox team this year? Who's on the team?
Yeah, it's actually returning the same guys as last year. We have Jared Graves, Justin Leo, myself, and TJ Sharp. And actually coming back is Ross Milan. He took a year off last year, but he's always a Yeti guy, so he's back on the squad doing the slalom and 4-cross stuff as well. So, you
know, besides the World Cup and the National Series, what kind of races you guys going to be hitting?
We'll definitely be hitting up the Mountain States Cup races. Those have been gaining a lot of momentum in the last couple of years, so we'll all be hitting those up. And then obviously the festival stuff, Crankworks. We're actually going to do a few of the Norba National stuff, or not Norba anymore, I guess, but yeah, the Mountain States will be the focus, though, for sure.
Right on. You know, Rich, when you're up there in a mountain cross, 4-cross course, they're counting down till they drop the gate. You know, what's going through your mind?
Usually, it's trying to get out of the gate as good as I can. I usually have some kind of a strategy for the first turn, whether if I'm in the inside, outside, how rough it's going to be, who's going to bump each other, that sort of stuff. But 4-cross, man, usually you have to be so focused on getting down that first straightaway. So normally that's what it is. But
a little bit of bravery go a long way in that sport.
It goes a long way, yeah. And you got to know who you're racing against. There's some guys that you know is going to be a little more aggressive than others. So you always have to prepare yourself for that kind of thing. But
who would you say the best in the world in gated racing is right now?
I'd say Jared Graves. I think he's pretty much been going fast the last couple of years, but this last year I think he pretty much put himself on the map that he was the guy to beat. He's still young, he's still got plenty of time in the sport, but he's probably number one right now.
All right, Rich. Well, hey, what are your goals for the season?
You know, I just want to get back healthy, get a good half of the season in. I'm going to be concentrating on the slalom and 4-cross stuff this year, not so much the downhill. So be on the box every race.